This is the Honda City Hybrid with a claimed efficiency of almost 27 kilometers per litre. It's priced at 19.5 lakhs but has a waiting period of almost a year. Honestly, today I was looking forward just to testing it and specifically to see how far that hybrid drivetrain could go on one tank of gas. But then these two clowns showed up. Why you guys here again?
You don't need that complicated hybrid tech. Just get a diesel. Proven fuel efficiency, it's got the high torque, it's a cheaper fuel. It just makes sense. Why are you complicating stuff with the hybrid?
I'm going to argue you A, don't need fancy hybrid tech, and B, you don't need a fuel that requires emission censoring. Just use fewer cylinders, the right gearbox, get a Virtus 1.5 DSG and have some fun while you're at it, no?
So now this is a video and I've got to drag these two clowns along for my test.
What was the test anyway?
Simple. Fill them all up and run them dry. Actually, we have some mechanical empathy, so we'll call it quits when the range drops to 0. But first, time to brim up.
With the tanks full and trips reset, we used ultra-scientific methods to ensure no one cheated and slightly tanked up again. 2 band-aids is the gold standard. Trust us. Anywho, off we went to get to grips with our machines.
So it's been about half an hour since we've started driving, and honestly I think I have the toughest task at hand, and it's got nothing to do with the Virtus. It's got everything to do with me. You see, 150 horsepower, 250 Nm, I really need to keep my right foot in check. Thankfully, the Virtus has active cylinder deactivation, which means under low loads it can run on 2-cylinder mode. Let's see if Tushar has a game plan. Tushar, do you have a game plan?
Well, my game plan is pretty straightforward. Just choose the right car. Finish. Turbo diesel engine, loads of torque, low down in the rev range. So right now, once I've engaged my 6-speed manual transmission into overdrive, I have got, 1500 RPM at 80 kilometers per hour. Showing me a range of like 524, 21, 22 kilometers per litre. This is going to be easy. I don't know, why do we need to complicate stuff? We've had this solution. We know that this works. We know that it's efficient. We know that it's good for load bearing and cruising. This is why commercial vehicles use diesel. It just makes sense. Alan, what's your game plan?
Well, considering that this is the first time I'm driving the hybrid, don't really have a game plan as such, but considering that I have the best predicted mileage on the Odo right now, I think the Honda City Hybrid has the game plan sorted.
In fact, I was getting quite sure of the hybrid's capabilities.
So mileage tests don't really need to be boring. And with that thought in mind, I've brought these guys on a little bit of a detour. We're heading to Ambi Valley, well, just to take in a little bit of the scenery and burn some fuel while we're at it.
And burn some fuel we did, because it felt like we were the only ones working on a weekday. The winding roads were fun, but the traffic and the tourists irked us enough to make a hasty dash towards Mumbai.
Okay, stat check on the Honda City diesel as we're entering Mumbai city limits. Displayed range 530 kilometers, 530. Displayed efficiency 24.7 kilometers per litre, and the trip is at 121.5 kilometers.
118 kilometers since we refueled. Virtus's trip computer is showing 17.7 kilometers per litre, and the range is still at 490 kilometers.
Stat check for the Honda City Hybrid. We've completed 127.9 kilometers and 707 km reading on the distance to empty and 25.4 kilometers per litre on the meter.
We soldiered on through Navi Mumbai, on to the freeway and towards Sobo. On the way, we drove past an old monument and then drove on another.
The sun ducked under the horizon and the evening rush hour was in full force now. But Arun and I didn't really mind, to be honest.
So Arun, it's been such a nice little day today, driving through Mumbai, seeing the sights.
I mean, I can't really fault him because him and I are driving automatics. Now, let's face it, we've been on a leisurely drive. If you look at the trip computer, we've been driving for about 6 hours now, roughly 200 kilometers, and the vertices distance to empty shows 420 kilometers. But I'm so happy that I'm driving an automatic in Mumbai traffic. But I kid you not, there's one person, I won't say who's not as happy. Tushar, how's your clutch pedal treating you?
Woo! So funny, Aaron, so funny. I had no idea you were so humorous. I'll admit it wasn't the best idea for me to get a diesel manual car or a manual car or a car when I knew that I'm going to be voluntarily driving from eastern Mumbai to South Mumbai to North Mumbai now, all during peak hour traffic. My leg hurts so much. But you know what? I'm not going to let them know. Manuals are all about control. Real men have 3 pedals. You know, they know it. I know it too.
What?
Real enthusiasts drive manual. You know what? I'm not going to let them know that I'm upset. I'm not. I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. Just got another, 1 hour 40 minutes to travel 8 kilometers. Everything's fine.
Except for, it wasn't. We decided to take the murderous Western Expressway to give the cars a bit of a challenge. That meant Tushar continued ranting.
Oh, of course. Why wouldn't you come into the overtaking lane and drive at 25 kilometers per hour?
And ranting.
हाँ आजा नहीं कट मारो ना मुझे नहीं मारो ना कट मैं बना ही उसके लिए हो ना please come cut me off
And ranting.
You didn't have a FASTag. Clearly it didn't. That FASTag banner up there didn't mean anything, did it? Please come and pay cash over here. Make everyone, oh yeah. Of course you have to argue with the toll attendant. It's clearly his fault that you can't read a signboard.
The next day.
It's a new day. It's a new highway and I finally get to give my left leg some amount of rest. Anyway, I'm not going to gloat about it too much. Let's give the boys a quick stat check.
And the stats were interesting. My diesel had 402 kilometers of range, the Virtus was at 340 kilometers, while the city hybrid seemingly discovered perpetual energy in Mumbai's traffic and was at a massive 613 kilometers of range.
And probably half of the time that it was in traffic, the petrol engine wasn't running. Because when you're on gentle throttle, heavy traffic, and you're just coasting along, the engine switches off and you're only using the battery power. So it only comes back on again to charge those batteries up again. So really efficient. And while these guys are going to run out of range pretty soon, they'll probably pack up and get back home as well. I'm going to be set for a long day of driving.
Or so I thought. I would soon find out that the hybrid wasn't as comfortable on the highway as it was in the city.
A few hours later.
On the other hand, the Virtus GT absolutely loves being on the highway. I'll give you some numbers for reference. I've driven about 300 kilometers since morning and the range has dropped only by 150 kilometers. So yeah, if you are going to be doing extensive highway trips, the Virtus GT is going to give you that perfect combination of fun and frugal.
The combination is potent, but it was the Virtus that was the first to duck under 100 kilometers of range.
Okay guys, I have hit 95 on the distance to empty. We are officially in the double digits.
And the range tumbled further as the sun began to set on day 2.
Okay, so 25 kilometers on the distance to empty for me. I've done 700 kilometers according to the Virtus trip computer. I'm losing this one for sure, but I want to see how far it goes before the DTE says 0.
The Virtus was now down to the final 10 kilometers.
Okay, last 10 kilometers according to the trip computer on the Virtus. 717 kilometers since I fueled up. Countdown begins.
And then the inevitable happened.
Okay, it is 10 kilometers roughly since the Virtus last. Oh, it's hit zero! It's hit zero! Guys, I'm tapping out. The Virtus has hit 0 kilometers. It's hit zero. 726.
I've got 78 kilometers remaining on the hybrid.
78 on the city hybrid. Tushar, can you give me the range on the city diesel, please?
53 kilometers.
So I am out of the race. 726 kilometers on the Virtus. As you can see, the fuel light is now blinking. Distance to empty is 0. Alan has about 78 kilometers of range left. Tushar has 53 kilometers of range left. It's going to be a dogfight between the two Hondas. All the action there.
How many kilometers remaining? We are at 50 kilometers now of predicted range. We're doing 23.9 kilometers per liter and we have traveled 768 kilometers already. The hybrid was leading the whole day, and then that gap between the hybrid and the diesel kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And when we were at 20 kilometers of range left, so I was at 20 and Tushar was around 15, and now he's got more range than me.
So the city hybrid, I mean, does the display show the battery active at all when you're driving? We're only doing 80, 85.
Yeah, so up till 80, it does seem to be using some battery, but as soon as you cross 85, it's only using the motor, and the motor is charging the battery as well. So it's dropping range quite fast at the speeds that we are doing. So 80, 90, over 80 kilometers per hour and 90 to 100 thereabouts.
Okay, Alan, I am now down to 9 kilometers of range. How much are you at?
I'm a little ashamed to say, dude. I'm at 7 kilometers of range left.
How?
I don't know, dude. On the highway, it's not managing to hold as good of its own.
And what's your trip reading at? I'm at 816 exactly.
I've done 820.4 kilometers. 24 kilometers per liter. But still, I'm down to 6 now. It's very close.
Okay, so you've done, as per your trip distance, about 4 kilometers more than me.
Yeah, just a bit ahead of you, yeah, on the road, and 5 kilometers now.
I'm down to 8.
5 versus 8.
Just so you guys know, they're right there.
Down to 2.
Oh my god, who would have thought this would be happening in the morning, dude? Who would have thought this?
Well, my car promised 799 kilometers of range when we filled it up right at the beginning of this test, and it's given me 825 kilometers. But yours has done a whole lot better, hasn't it?
I think calling it a whole lot is a little bit generous. But considering it is basic technology, turbo, diesel engine, 6-speed transmission, there's a lot of sense to that.
Down to 1 kilometer.
He's down to 1. He's down to 1. He is ready to stop anytime soon now. And just for context, we have been driving in the abject worst traffic conditions possible. We have been doing like 150 odd kilometers of catastrophically bad city traffic.
You have officially won.
See, again, like I said, unscripted. But let's get the final count. You're at 0. What is your trip distance?
24 kilometers per liter. And it was 826 point something. 826.3 or 4.
I am going to carry on ahead now. Bye bye.
And well, that's how the cookie crumbles.
Now we are down to it. 1 kilometer of range left. displayed efficiency of 23.7 kmpl, 829.2 kilometers trip distance. So yes, we have done the maximum so far. Not the biggest margin over the hybrid, but yeah. Let's see how long it takes before it drops down to absolute zero, and that is when we will have to call it a day. I think when it can be this efficient without trying to make it efficient, I can only imagine what it can do when you drive it in conditions that are more lenient. And I am out 830.6 kilometers. 830.6 kilometers. We shall roll to a stop. And that is it. We are out. 0 kilometers of range left. 23.7 kmpl. We have done exactly 830.9, call it 831 kilometers before the city diesel hit range 0. This is comfortably a car that can do like 850 to 900 kilometers with more conducive conditions. But yeah, there you have it. The city diesel has managed to beat the Volkswagen Virtus DSG with cylinder deactivation and the Honda City e-HEV hybrid petrol cars with good old-fashioned technology that we've always trusted. Turbo diesel and the right transmission. That's all you need. It has been a long 2 days.
730 kilometers of range nearly from what's supposed to be a performance-oriented version of this sedan. I think that's bloody impressive. We have to give the Virtus GT that.
Yeah.
Right? Second, we noticed that the Virtus was underclocking kilometers, wasn't it? I mean, for about 700 kilometers that the three cars drove together, the Hondas counted an extra 20. Right? So, if I go by the odos on the Honda cities, technically the Virtus did 750 kilometers on a full tank before it tapped out. And that's impressive. I'll take that all day long. But that's not important. Alan, you tell me how you managed to blow a 300 kilometer lead over the Virtus GT and a 200 kilometer lead over the City Diesel.
And yes, while that would sound like a big upset for me or a great comeback story for Tushar, what really hurt the hybrid was that constant accelerating and decelerating on that Gujarat highway. And what we've subsequently realized from putting the hybrid through our usual test cycle is that pure EV mode actually does work on the highway up to speeds of 100 kilometers even. But you need to be smooth and calm with the throttle, like on the expressway, which I didn't have the luxury of. My heavy foot was a consequence of all that traffic, and that's where it kind of lost its edge.
So evidently then, hybrids do have obvious efficiency benefits, right? And especially because you're getting all of that efficiency with the refinement of a petrol car, the smoothness, and you can't really, that's something that we can't exactly call underrated. And had this test been purely in city conditions, and by a massive margin, right? We're talking 300, 200, it wouldn't be like a matter of 1 or 2 at the end of that test. But I still maintain that even with all the hybrid benefits, and yes, I am definitely pro-hybrid, I've even done a video about this stuff, that diesels make sense. The technology is as straightforward as it comes. The results speak for themselves. And sure, they need emission censoring, and emission norms are the reason why we're seeing mass market diesels sort of getting wiped away from the market. It does not mean that diesels stop being relevant, and I will not agree with anyone who tells me otherwise.
So that's that.
And there are other hybrids coming into the market. So if you guys like this content, we will have other stories like this on hybrids. Do let us know in the comments. And
you've been watching ZigWheels. You know the usual drill: like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that. If you disagree with what we've done, if you want to fight him, me, all of us put together in the comments, bring it on.
And follow us on Instagram, both ZigWheels and all 3 of us too.
Right? So that's it for this video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.